Go for it.
All right. Well, my name is Randy Wilson, aka Bitcoin Randy. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I just want to start by sharing a little information about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It's pretty simple stuff. Obviously, everyone's heard about this stuff recently in the news. I got involved with it about 2 years ago when nobody was talking about it. It was not known by anybody. It was only $300 roughly, $268 per coin back then. And now as of today, $15,000? $14,000 per coin. And we've seen it up as high as $19,000+ a coin. So it's been a really crazy last couple of years. I was here a few months ago, and I got a chance to meet the lovely Laura Lee. And it's amazing what's happened since then. I think when I was here last, Bitcoin was about $4,000 per coin.
Yeah, you were selling.
And I was selling
and
to everyone.
happy about
Yeah. You guys were giving me cash, and I was doing Bitcoin, and I was like, man, I gave you guys a hookup, you know. But anyway, since then, I've just kind of learned that in the Bitcoin world, if we're really going to capitalize on it, we have to learn some of the basics. Some basics about Bitcoin. What is it? How does it work? Without being too complicated or too technical. And so I have a series of videos here that are just a couple of minutes each. And I think that these 3 videos do the best job at giving you the best possible quick overview. And then after the videos, we can talk about the next step. How do we capitalize on Bitcoin? So let's first talk about this one. Barb, can you see that?
Yes. I can. Thank you.
Okay. Laura Lee, you're okay?
Yep.
Let me just make sure I got my volume
Got my Zoom going.
all the way. Now this might be a little loud, but I think it's better.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, here we go.
What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the first decentralized digital currency. Bitcoins are digital coins you can send through the internet. Compared to other alternatives, Bitcoins have a number of advantages. Bitcoins are transferred directly from person to person via the net, without going through a bank or clearinghouse. This means that the fees are much lower. You can use them in every country. Your account cannot be frozen, and there are no prerequisites or arbitrary limits. Let's look at how it works. Several currency exchanges exist where you can buy and sell Bitcoins for dollars, euros, and more. Your Bitcoins are kept in your digital wallet on your computer or mobile device. Sending Bitcoins is as simple as sending an email, and you can purchase anything with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin network is secured by individuals called miners. Miners are rewarded newly generated Bitcoins for verifying transactions. After transactions are verified, they are recorded in a transparent public ledger. Bitcoin opens up a whole new platform for innovation. The software is completely open source and anyone can review the code. Bitcoin is changing finance the same way the web changed publishing. When everyone has access to a global market, great ideas flourish. Bitcoins are a great way for businesses to minimize transaction fees. It doesn't cost anything to start accepting them, and it's easy to set up. There are no chargebacks, and you'll get additional business from the Bitcoin economy. For more information about Bitcoin, visit weusecoins.com.
All right, so what kind of things jumped out at you about that video? What are some of the things that made you go, aha?
Freedom
Freedom from
from the banks.
the banks, the established monetary system
Exactly.
controlled by the banking industry.
I'd like to see something different.
Would like to see something different. Well, that's really the sort of the revolution of Bitcoin. That's why a lot of us found it so interesting and attractive, is because we found that we have a way to manage our own financial circumstances or situation on a me and you level,
Right.
without having to use these third-party criminals,
Right.
right? So that's where Bitcoin originally started making a lot of sense. What else?
Supposedly less in fees.
Yeah. It's less in fees from, there's no third-party fees associated with Bitcoin. Currently, because of the demand of Bitcoin, the fees to send it could be expensive at times, but those fees are determined by miners of Bitcoin. There are no third-party fees.
Who are these miners? We need to talk to them.
I know, right?
Well, there's
So-
thousands of them.
Yeah, miners are what keeps the Bitcoin network up and running. Like some people say things like, oh, well, what happens if they shut down Bitcoin? Well, understand that Bitcoin exists on a network of computers around the world. And the only way you could shut down Bitcoin is if you shut down the world and kept it off. It's not good enough just to turn off the US because the ledger is kept, the open source,
It's open.
it's open and it's all over the world and all computers keep track of the ledger. So you can take out a whole continent,
Right.
but the ledger still exists. And when that continent came back online, whatever computers were there would quickly
Figure it out.
figure out the ledger and rebalance. So the interesting thing about that technology called blockchain is every transaction goes back to the very first transaction of Bitcoin to confirm that every transaction between now and then is all in the ledger. So it's that technology is pretty fantastic and is changing the world today. Because now that technology, which for the most part, generally speaking, is associated with Bitcoin, well, it's now associated with over 1,000 different currencies. And then even further, now that blockchain technology is being applied to many different industries that you and I are familiar with, like the medical industry, the legal industry, the real estate industry, the insurance industry. All of these different industries, the civil industry, civil services and stuff, because the ledger is open source. The ledger keeps track, and you don't need humans to keep track of this ledger. You only need computers. So anyways, this is become a phenomenon that has changed the world, much like the internet changed the world, much like mobile technology changed the world, much like Facebook, YouTube, Google, Amazon changed the world.
Out of all the encrypted currency, Bitcoin is still the biggest, right?
Bitcoin is the reserve currency of the cryptocurrency world, but there's about probably closer to 2,000 different coins out there now.
Over 3 now.
Okay, so there's so many. They're coming out every day. There's a new cryptocurrency, and each currency usually has some kind of application that makes it special that they're using it for.
Some of them are open, they're almost like the banks. But Bitcoin has, what, 21 million or 20?
21 million coins is all they'll be.
Right.
The limit.
Yeah,
So it's a
they're
limit.
finite. They're finite, which is unlike, like we said, the banking industry, which these guys have the power to print money as they see, causes inflation.
And that's
Federal
just like the
Reserve.
bank.
And that's the bank. Well, Federal Reserve. But cryptocurrencies are usually based on a finite amount of coin
Okay.
on the onset. So we already know how many are going to be ever produced. And that already sets a supply-demand relationship with cryptocurrency.
Okay.
All right, so getting back into it, let me just turn this around, and I'm going to show you another quick video. Now, what this next video is going to do is it's going to give you a picture of what Bitcoin looks like in the real world. So, how does someone use Bitcoin? How does Bitcoin apply? How is it relevant to me in the real world and people around me? How is it relevant to businesses? How does it really work? And this video here does a good job of explaining it. Now, this video is an advertisement for a company, but they did a really good job of explaining this. And I found this video, and now I use it to show people how Bitcoin works in the real world. So It's just 4.5 minutes.
In 2004,